Well, welcome to another video that we hope will assist some of our people through some of our various processes that we've done several videos. As we go into the licensure renewal season, we are aware that there are some people who have never renewed with our system before, and there are some people who have problems renewing, and we think seeing and hearing how to do this might help you get through the renewal process a little easier. That is our hope. One of the first things I would mention about that is that we actually recommend that you use Internet Explorer as your browser. If you're using something else, it may or may not be a problem, we don't know, but sometimes when you're using those different browsers, it creates problems that we can't predict and we don't understand. So we do recommend that if you're having a problem that you look at your browser, and if you're using Internet Explorer, we can probably help you. If you're using something else, we probably don't know much about it. Renewals do occur annually every year, and typically between the first day of November and the last day of December. If after watching this video you're still having difficulty, please call us during normal business hours on the phone numbers shown here on this screen. We do strongly recommend that you renew your license early in this renewal window between November 1st and December 31st, so it doesn't slip your mind, and so we have time to help you if you do have some sort of technical difficulty. If you wait until December 31st or after business hours, or we're not in the office, and your license could then unfortunately lapse, and you'll be forced to go through the late renewal process, which costs you late fees. You're unable to use your license in that lapsed state until the board has reviewed your situation and approved your late renewal to include an automatic audit of your CEUs for this year. So renew early. That's what we really want people to do. We do send email reminders, and which should have already sent those out this year. This is November as I'm reading this and presenting this to you. We send those reminders and that it's time to renew your license, but ultimately it's your responsibility to renew. We can't force you to read your emails any more than we can force you to renew early. So the responsibility is ultimately yours, as the license is yours. Without further ado, to start the process, you'd start by going to our website, which is at www.ok.gov/Osbeltka. That's OSBELTCA. And when you get there, it's going to look like this. I'm going to show you in just a second. Depending on the browser you use, again, we recommend Internet Explorer to a certain degree. It might look different on some others. And whether you're doing this on a PC or a phone, and it might look a little different on a phone. We're showing you screenshots from a PC, personal computer, using Internet Explorer as the browser. So that's what you're going to see. It looks like this. So on that image you see, there are 6 different images that do scroll through the top of the page, but this is just one of them. You see that the bar there below that image, this arrow is pointing at, that's the access to different drop-down menus that get you to various pages on our website. As a current administrator here to renew your license, you would logically put your mouse over the current administrator button, and then you'll see a drop-down menu appear. At the bottom of this drop-down, you would move your cursor over the Access the Portal link shown here with the yellow arrow, and click on that, and it will take you to the portal to renew your license. And when you get to the portal, this is what it looks like, short of that writing I put at the top of the page there for you to see. First thing I'm going to tell you is, since you're here to renew your license, you have a license. It's not your first time to apply, so ignore the right-hand side. You're not here to apply for a license. You have a license. So ignore the right side and do not click on that apply button there. Instead, what we want you to do is enter your email address and password on the left side, and then click the sign in button beneath that. If you've forgotten your password, you may be able to retrieve it if you set up your security questions before. If you didn't do that, you'll have to call the office during business hours to have your password reset. Again, it's not a good idea to wait until the last minute, just in case you did forget your password or which email address you use for this purpose. But if you got our reminder to renew, the email address we sent that reminder to is the email address we have in the system. So that may be a clue for that aspect. If you have not set up the security questions for the future retrieval of your password, you should consider doing that at some point while you're in the system during this renewal, probably at the end, and I'll remind you at the end. Again, even if you forgot your password, do not go to the right side and try to apply. You're only making matters worse if you do that. Do not reapply. Get your password and sign in. Once you've signed in, you'll find that the page looks something like this. I'll take just a second here to point out that if you want to set your password retrieval questions, you would click on the My Profile link on the left side of the page to do that. They come back to this page when you click on that My License and Applications just above the My Profile link. I'd recommend, however, that you first renew your license, and then when you're done with that, come back to the password questions. That renewal should probably have a higher priority. Now, on these pages, we have tried to leave a little trail to guide you through the renewal process. The instructions to renew are in red. Those do show up on the page, at the top of the page. But you'll start by clicking on your license number, which appears as a blue link. And I'm pointing at that with a red arrow here. I also note that on this screen, my status for my license is showing to be active, and in that case, you would not be able to renew. If your status is something else, it should be up for renewal if you're here to renew. If it's something else, you probably need to call the office. If it's not OTC compliant, that means you wouldn't be able to renew until you become compliant with the Oklahoma Tax Commission. We have typically sent those notices out already, usually in September, to those affected by this problem. Once we do get that, we will make you able to renew your license, probably the next day after we get that notice in the evening, and we make you eligible to renew the next morning. If you aren't non-tax compliant, you need to contact the Tax Commission, not us. So we can't do anything about it. We're just told you're not compliant. We don't really want to know what the problem is. We just want to know when it's fixed, and that's what we wait for. So this is what it looks like when you are up for renewal. The status says up for renewal, and the note at the top again makes sense because under the Manage Applications tab you now see a renewal update link also on that screen that I'm pointing at. And that's where you need to click on Next to get started. So you're going to click on that Renewal Update link at the lower left part of the page there. The update page should look relatively familiar to those who've renewed before. You'll need to update your responses here, or in some cases we're asking some new questions. The questions about CEUs and whether you've been arrested are pretty key. If you don't answer those correctly, it will not allow you to renew. If you cannot finish your CEUs before the end of the year or you've been arrested, please call the office and we'll talk you through what you need to do. If you're the administrator of record of a facility or more than one, we do have some additional questions and new questions about your facility and also about your benefits that we would like for you to answer as you renew your license. So pay attention to those. After you've answered all the questions on that page, you'll need to click on the Update button that says Update at the bottom of the screen. So when you go click on Update, and you will move forward from there. What happens here is it takes you back to what looks like where you started. In a way, that's exactly what it is. But now that you've updated your record by answering those questions, it has enabled you to pay the fees for your renewal. Unfortunately, that may not be readily apparent here. You don't see everything that's on this page until you scroll down. So you will need to scroll down a little to find the Make Payment button that's right under the licensure fee history portion of the page, and just above the attachments that you may have put in your record. And that button looks like this. So click on that Make Payment button, and then we'll take you to the payment screens, and that starts here, showing you the amount you owe for this renewal, and perhaps any other outstanding things you may owe us for. If it's incorrect, you need to call us before you proceed so we can have a chance to correct it, but it is usually correct. If you owe something such as a fine that's not yet due perhaps, we can remove that temporarily for you if you call us, so you can pay just the renewal fees at this time, and then you can come back another day to pay the other fees, whatever that may be. We're here to help you, and we want to work with you and make that work for you. So when you're ready, click the Pay Now button on the right side there, and then be prepared to put in your credit or debit card information. A screen that comes up looks like this. It's a little different system, so the website has a different feel and look. So you'll need to scroll down and verify your own data on the top portion of this page, and note that the red asterisk areas indicate, when you see a red asterisk there, that's a required item for you to enter. But so you'll scroll down. The bottom of the page looks like this. You're going to be asked to enter the credit card type from a drop-down menu right at the bottom, and then you're going to enter your credit card number. Make sure you get that exactly right. Double check it. Enter the expiration date from your card. Enter the name that's on the card, and then you're going to click Continue after you've entered everything and you're satisfied with that. Before the payment is final, you do get one more chance to look and make sure everything's right. So you've got a page to scroll down and look at everything to make sure that your payment is correct. And then you scroll to the bottom of that page and you get that last chance to make the corrections, and then you make payment. Clicking on the Make Payment button when you're satisfied that everything is correct. Then you get a receipt page, and you could print this if you wanted to, but you will be getting a receipt in the email, so this is just a backup to print this page if you want to. But when you get this page, you either print it, or then after you print it, you click on the Continue button that I've highlighted here with this red arrow. And then voila, it takes you back to that first page you've entered, and you can see that your status is once again active, not up for renewal. That's your clue that you have finished the renewal process. You can check on that by clicking on your license number and see that the date actually has changed also to next year, December 31st of next year. And then what I want to point out to you while we're here then is, mentioned previously, you want to enable yourself to get your password if you're to forget it in the future without calling us. So at this point, before you hit that log off link there on the left, just above that, you can update your profile and add those security questions and answers regarding the password retrieval by clicking on My Profile and making those changes on that page. Otherwise, you'll just click the log off button and wait for your 2 emails that will come after that, after you've finished. You do get 2 emails. One's with your annual card on it. You need to print that on cardstock and then sign it, cut it out, and stick it in your wallet or purse. The other email is your receipt. I don't care what you do with that. That's your business. You can take it to your employer if they're the kind that reimburse you for this expense, or just file it away as you deem necessary, or do nothing with it whatsoever. Those 2 emails do come separately and could come a few minutes apart because they do come from 2 separate systems. But ultimately, you are done for another year. So that pretty much wraps it up. If you missed something along the way or have a question, don't be shy about calling us. Pam's number is here on the screen, 522-1619, and Ginger's is 1616. We're all willing to help you, and we're all able to help you, so don't be afraid to call us if we've missed something or if you have another question. Thanks, and looking forward to seeing you renewed.